Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. So, question for all of you. Have you ever had this happen to you where you have like 20 choices and they're all kind of the same and it makes you feel a little bit anxious and not want to make a decision? I know I have had that experience before. So, for example, if I like ask you to pick a color, there's purple, right? And they say, okay, well then there's other colors too: lavender, violet, amethyst, blue, violet. I don't know, but all kinds of purple. How easy would it be for you to choose one color? It would be incredibly difficult. And in fact, let's say I were going to do car shopping, right? I'm going to go buy a new car, and all they had was like the 20 varieties of purple. Um, I probably have to think about like buying the car and maybe not even buy it unless I absolutely needed it to go to work or something like that, right? So that's the kind of society that we live in, and this idea I actually remember. Seeing for the first time in a book called The Paradox of Choice by a psychology professor, Barry Schwartz, where he talks about the reason why maybe depression and anxiety and all that is increasing in society is because we have way too many choices in life, right? You ever go to the store and then you see like the vitamin D milk and then the vitamin A milk and then the organic milk and then the ultra pasteurized, and then some places you can get raw milk and most places you can't, but then there's like way too many choices. And then probably like 50, 60 years ago you only had one type of milk and it was probably a milkman who just delivered it to your home, right? Where is the milkman, anyways? I think we need to bring that back, the milkman. But back to my whatever I was talking about. But we have way too many choices in life, and one of the things that I noticed is that um, one company to me stands out in particular that does the opposite of what most companies do. So if you take a look here, right, we have a McDonald's menu, right? So you see all these choices, and I actually stole this picture from the Wall Street Journal because they have an article that from 2014 saying that McDonald's has way too much stuff on their menu. And if you ever worked in a restaurant before, and I have, and I was pretty terrible at it. I was thinking like, why do we have so many items? It's actually harder for us to deliver the items. The speed of service that we get the items out is probably slower because again, we have to figure out what item is what and learn all the combinations, right? And frankly, we don't even get paid that much. Um, and I just felt like working in a restaurant, too many choices actually ruin the experience for both the worker and the consumer. One of the things, if you ever worked in fast food, there's something called a speed of service counter. And so what happens is that when your car comes to the drive-through, there's some sort of a sensor somewhere that detects that car. And then most fast food restaurants have a counter inside the restaurant. And what they're trying to do, so for example, I worked for Checkers, they're trying to get the meal out before that 2 minute limit. So, for example, it starts at 2 minutes, and then if you're able to get a meal out within 2 minutes, which is insane, right? Like they order food and it gets out in 2 minutes, that's considered a success, right? But if you have all these items on the menu and you have to think really quickly about, cooking stuff and getting the drinks and counting the money, how are you going to meet the 2 minutes, right? And In and Out, the reason I like In and Out a lot, even though I haven't eaten there more than 10 years, is that their menu is simple, right? So the cheeseburger, the hamburger, and then french fries and shakes, and that's pretty much it. And the double double, of course, right? So these three options are almost the exact same option, right? It's just the number of patties and cheeses. And then you have two different other different options, which is french fries and shakes, and then also you got the soft drinks. So how many different types of products are you really selling in total? I would consider just these three just to be one, the French fries to be another, and then the shakes and the soft drinks, you could maybe consider to be two different things. So one, two, three, four. So four different things that they sell in the In and Out menu, right? Even the combos, it's just three combos, right? And then if you go to McDonald's, I mean, look at all this. This is a disaster, right? It's not just three combos. We got like probably a breakfast combo, all these combos, the McCafes, and then all of these, and I don't understand. And there's probably, if you work at McDonald's right now, you probably know this in the restaurant. There's probably a big disconnect about how the head corporate headquarters wants to do things versus what really goes on in a restaurant. And in fact, I've heard, I think I read this in a Reddit post, like if the employees actually did things the way that corporate wanted them to do it, then they would never reach the fast food speed of service times, right? So they just kind of take shortcuts and all that, and that's because unfortunately this is the way that things work in many businesses. It's all about hierarchy, right? So the person who's managing you to tell you how to do stuff has probably never done it himself, right? And that's why there's the disconnect. But then they demand that you get things out in a speedy manner, and that's probably more of a priority than doing things in the right order. And then once they come to check your store, that's probably when you have to work extra hard because now you want to look like you're doing things right. But back to my point. So here, this is simplistic, right? I haven't eaten an In-N-Out menu more burger in more than 10 years because I'm a little bit more health conscious. But when I see this, I think, wow, this is probably the reason why their food tastes so much better, right? Um, that they have, and also that they have a much more dedicated fan base. I honestly think that your customer, let's say you take a brand new person who's never been to California, they stop by In-N-Out. This is much more understandable to a new customer who's never, let's say, even eaten fast food than this behemoth, right? Like, I'm getting sick looking at this. And, if I were to make a choice, I would just, this is probably what I would do. And I don't know if you ever worked at a fast food restaurant. I would just go up to the driveway and then just stare at the menu. And then, for 2 minutes, and then that would probably ruin the speed of service time that the fast food workers have to meet. But again, I don't eat fast food anymore, right? So, but what I want to say is that if you're a business owner or just a person in life in general, right, you want to make sure that your interactions with people are very choices and few, right? You don't want 100 choices, right? So if let's say you're going on vacationing with friends, make sure you just give them two or three choices that are completely different. Hey, do you want to go to Europe, Latin America, or Russia, right? Versus, do you want to go to I don't know what's a lake near here, or do you want to go to like some Asian restaurant A in Los Angeles versus Asian restaurant B, and then or pick give me a 20 Asian restaurants in Los Angeles. That's going to be a harder sell because I'm just going to stare at it and then we're all going to argue about which one's better, and then we might not even go, right? So too many choices is essentially a bad thing. And again, if you're a business owner, I would actually recommend limiting the products that you offer to your prospects, right? Maybe one or two. Don't give them like 20 choices, right? I've seen presentations where one person just gives like one or two prices of the same product, right? One or two ways of how the product is sold versus like all the possible combinations of how it could be sold. And I would always prefer, given that it's the same product, that you only present one or two options how to buy, not all the possible options. Because what's going to happen is that you're just going to have analysis paralysis, and they won't even give you a decision. I'd rather get a yes or no at the time of sale of what the consumer thinks, rather than just saying, oh, let me think about it, right? Oh, let me think about it is the worst because you don't know what's going on. But yes or no, you really want that. Okay. All right, so this is Crane Atlanta Mentorship. Just here talking about the benefits of limited choices. So if you want a poster child of that, look at the In-N-Out menu versus the McDonald's menu. Okay, so if you're interested in joining our group and you're looking for some sort of education, financial literacy, education, real, and want to learn about the basics of real estate investing, 1, 2, 3, 4, go ahead and click the Google form link below. Other than that, happy Saturday. Have a great day, and I'll just keep cranking out videos. We're almost at 2,000 subs now, so pretty. No, not 2,000. What am I saying? We're almost at 1,600, but we're gonna be at 2,000. I'm sure we'll be at 2,000 by this year. I don't know when, but it should be soon. All right. Have a great day, everybody.